Hey, what's up you guys? This is Rob from The Gay Guy Plays, and today on The Quick Draw, bursting has never felt this good when we take a look at the Cyngas. Okay, so I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Under no circumstances was I expecting to like this weapon as much as I did. I mean, it's just a plain old burstfire rifle with next to zero crit, an overabundance of pointless status, no elemental base damage, and no interesting mechanics to dip my pickle in. However, after a bit of playtesting, I found one very interesting niche that it feels quite good filling. Now, you can pick up the Cyngas' blueprint in the market for 35,000 credits. However, the rest of its components are only available for 25,000 standing through the syndicates after you've reached rank 3. The barrel can be found with the Arbiters of Hexus, Cephalon Suda has the receiver, and the parent sequence stocks the stock. But do keep in mind that this does require Mastery rank 4 to craft. Now, if you can manage to cut yourself a deal with the syndicates, you can always pick it up in the market pre-built along with an archwing weapon slot and a catalyst for 225 plat. Now, its primary damage type is slashing, but only by a teensy tiny bit. Its entire damage spread is actually fairly balanced, meaning that while it'll be decent at taking on all factions, it won't specialize in anything specific. So, be sure to use the appropriate elemental combo in order to deal the optimal amount of damage. Okay, so mechanically the Cyngas is a burstfire rifle that shoots off 3 rounds per click. If we're not counting critical damage, which with archwing mods aren't as consistent as they are in the standard game mode, it currently has the second highest damage per click. However, when fully optimized, the Cyngas is actually able to outpace the burst damage of every other archwing primary currently available, aside from the Velocitus, which we can definitely argue is a bit more finicky to use than the average burstfire rifle. Now, in addition to its remarkable stopping power, it also has 0 range restrictions, 0 damage falloff, and an accuracy rating that outclasses the Velocitus, making the Cyngas a powerhouse at standard combat and surprisingly effective at sniping as well, which is how I personally like using it. Also, it's got the highest status chance of all archwing primaries, which doesn't really matter because you're gonna end up taking everything down before the status effect can even play any major role in your killing spree. Now, speaking of being surprisingly good at things, can we talk? So when I first got my hands on the Cyngas, I have to admit that I didn't really think much about it. It just kinda did what it did and I didn't see it for much more than that. However, after I spent a little time playing with it and investing some effort into making some improvements, only then did I realize exactly how entertaining and truly powerful the Cyngas could be. Kinda like my butthole. See, before I really started playing around with it, it was just a means to an end. There was no joy there, until of course I started poking around and really investigating what I could do with it. I mean, it was pretty obvious that it would be great to take on units up close and personal, but what really got me was its effectiveness at long range. I mean, just pointing it in the right direction and I could score myself a couple easy shots. But if I put in a little more effort, I could totally wipe out my bar tab. And on a good night, maybe even the bartender. So, just like the Cyngas, sometimes you just gotta get your hands a little dirty to get to the good stuff. Now, Tipsy Tuesday escapades aside, let's get back to the quick draw. So all in all, the Cyngas was definitely a big surprise to me, as weapon-wise we honestly haven't had something that really caught my attention in quite a while. But now all of a sudden we've got something that functions well at any range, is very easy to use, and has a shit ton of damage to back it up. It's great for new players who are still trying to get used to the new movement system and don't want to have to worry about gauging distance, as well as archwing aficionados looking for a weapon of substance. In addition, it comes with an innate V polarity, which is definitely a nice stepping stone to a full build, because let's face it, when you've got something this glorious in hand, you can't settle for being half-assed. So thank you all for watching another episode of The Quick Draw. If you haven't already caught it, check out my 2 previous snapshots on the newest Archwing augments, the Elatron's Afterburner and the Itzal's Cold Snap. Now don't forget to do all the things that I asked you to do at the end of every one of these, and as always, stay tuned for more full-ass content here at A Gay Guy Plays. Okay, fine, I will admit it, I am not the biggest fan of the new movement system. I just can't back that ass up as aggressively as I used to. Is this one like a super old power bottom feels like?